All right, everybody. Welcome to the very first appendix. I think this would be like the 8th or ninth appendix. But it's the first one we're going to release. I don't think we feel like going back and doing the other ones.
Yeah, maybe if you're really good someday. Probably not.
If you pay us a lot of money, we'll do it. Because you would have to pay at least a little bit of money to get these ones.
Can you make audio into an NFT? That's the real question.
My favorite thing about NFTs is how unstable they are as far as like the conservation of energy is concerned.
Yeah. I have a friend who tried to explain how that's not true to a bunch of people on Facebook, but I've also heard people say that it is true. So I've heard people say that it's true. I've heard people say that it's overblown because it makes it seem like compared to other things that are similar, it's worse, and it's not really. So I don't really know what to think right now. But
I've also read that various cryptocurrencies have they require so much energy to produce that we've like completely undone any work that's been accomplished in the field of restoring the climate.
if that's true, then fuck NFTs. Damn.
Yeah. Well, I remember like a couple weeks ago, Gorillaz was getting all kinds of shit because they made an album about like the obscene consumption of energy called Plastic Beach, and then they were doing NFTs recently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll get you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about things I don't understand. We're here to talk about things I fairly understand, but I do a little bit.
We're not here to talk about things that we don't understand. We're here to talk about things that we want to understand.
Yeah, that's going to kind of be the vibe of the appendix, I think, or the appendices. So the first thing I've brought for this week is just these cool, crazy depictions of angels that have been popping up all over the place. They're kind of the whose wheel? Who had the wheel?
Like Ezekiel's wheel?
Ezekiel's wheel, yeah.
Ezekiel's wheel.
Yeah, it's kind of an Ezekiel's. It's kind of an Ezekiel's wheel thing, which is like something that, you know, what's his name? That's always on like History Channel documentaries and like when Sci-Fi tries to do a grown-up
Eric
show
von
once in a while.
Daniken?
No.
Giorgio Tsoukalos?
No. Not the Greek. It's the Japanese guy. What's his name?
Michio Kaku?
I keep wanting to say Hatsune Miku, but it's not her. She's not real. It's Michio Kaku. Yeah, so anyway, so a Dyson sphere is like something that a bunch of people that have lost their reason ascribe to the things that are depicted in the Bible and what these images of angels kind of resemble, which is a Dyson sphere. You, of course, know what a Dyson sphere is, Leo. I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like
big round
it's
vacuum.
like the circular part of the vacuum.
Yeah.
Did we both just make a similar joke?
I think it's inevitable. They named it after the guy that makes vacuums.
Yeah. Didn't he? I almost said didn't he go to space? I meant to say didn't he go to jail? I think he committed fraud or something. I can't remember.
I think that's the MyPillow guy.
I think the Dyson guy did something wrong. I think that's why he's always bragging about being a knight. I don't know.
Is he? They knighted the vacuum guy? That's great.
I think they knighted the vacuum guy.
I hope the Segway guy got a knighthood as well. So what a Dyson sphere is for ignorant people out there who don't know about science and the Bible. It's like a big round thing. It's like from Halo, Leo's favorite video game, and the only one he's ever heard of. It's like a circular superstructure that would surround a star. It would be like a bunch of solar panels that go all the way around, kind of. But it's also represented in like that Halo way where it's just a ring around a star that collects energy. And it's like, it's got like, it's like to do with like the Kardashev scale, which I think is silly.
That's the advancement scale, right? The science fiction scale that somehow everyone thinks is for real science. I want to know what the rung on the Kardashev scale is where Transformers become real. Is that before or after like world peace? I feel like that's after world peace. I feel like that's when you like I don't know. That's above my pay grade for this to even speculate on.
Anyway, I just thought those drawings of angels were cool, and I still do.
The rings of eyes, the four-dimensional.
Yeah, there's that one that has the baby inside of it.
Eyes.
The little cherub inside of it. That was pretty cool. And then there was a post on r/high strangeness, which is just a cave that looks like a snake. It's pretty tight.
A snave, if you will.
Yeah, a snave. And it's like two different places. There's one in Thailand and one in how do you say it? Laos. I think it's Laos.
Yeah, it's Laos.
So this one I'm just gonna run down a brief summary of what this is. This is by a brave person who put their own name onto this because it's so legit. And that person's name is Throwawaylian.
Throwawaylian?
Yeah, Throwawaylian. So this says throwaway account because I'm afraid.
Oh my god, this is already dumb. I'm listening.
Yeah, well, you know what this is. I already told you. So anyway, this person alleges that when they were 12 years old, in the year of our Lord 1987, they were abducted by aliens. So, he says they didn't do a lot of probing, like raping or anything like that, which I feel good about. I'm glad they didn't do a lot of that. These made-up aliens. So they did like lots of observation stuff. He says their language just kind of sounds like a hum, like what you see when like people with dreadlocks meditate. Yeah, that sort of thing. That's great. Like not like cool throat singing,
but like the thing that I just did, bad overtone singing.
Yeah, I guess. So he says they put thoughts into your head, but they can't take things out. They can't.
Aw.
I don't know. That kind of seems like it'd be a good thing.
It's just
especially what if they were hot?
I'd rather it be the other way around if I'm being honest. What?
What if they were hot but they were prudes? You know.
Wait, how does that make the situation better or worse?
Well, it'd really suck if they could read your mind. That's all I'm saying. It'd really make it difficult.
I see what you're saying. That is a very good point, Randy.
Yeah.
That is a very good point.
They're beige, and all clothes apparently, so not naked.
They wear clothes.
It sounds like they're
made out of cloth.
It sounds like that they just completely cover themselves to obscure, their true face.
Oh, like he was like, they're all clothes. I can't believe it. Like, look at you. You're all clothes. Like that. That's literally what they wrote. So
yeah.
Very sort of.
I'm only scanning this. I skipped directly to the part that I thought was interesting when I read it the first time.
Okay.
They don't hear very well. They can't understand English very well, which
I was gonna say they can't hear very well, but they have a
telepathy,
a vocal language, like as a rule.
Well, they could also just like emit ambient noise, like that might be the sound of their heartbeat.
Maybe
or something.
It's not really language, or they hear in a different frequency range. Maybe too, it could be a thing.
That could be. I think you're onto
something.
That'd
be. I don't know.
Well, you're
Depends
gonna.
on how many experiences
Here's the thing,
this person
though.
has had with the aliens.
I think these maybe are trying to get in touch with you specifically, though, And I'll tell you why.
Because of the
No.
Because of that?
It's because of something even more esoteric than that.
Uh-oh. Where are
Okay.
you going with this?
They like some of our music. Bluegrass is their favorite.
These are bluegrass-loving aliens?
Yeah, they're bluegrass loving. Yeah.
That's hard to believe.
He says, okay, so here's something else he says. And, this actually kind of tracks. He's being consistent here. So bluegrass is their favorite music. It's interesting. It kind of makes sense. Because a lot of bluegrass music isn't all that good, and they can't hear very well.
That's true.
They
that
can't.
tracks.
They don't understand English, so they, might have made a little bit more sense if he said country, but bluegrass kind of lines up with what he says.
Yeah, I
next.
would have liked old time. That would have got me excited.
I'm just glad they don't like
Ragtime.
Yeah.
Better than ragtime is infinitely better than bluegrass as a genre. IMO.
That's crazy. That's a bad attitude to have. So anyway, the reason the bluegrass tracks is because they love African instruments.
Okay.
And of course the banjo.
They love the banjo.
Well,
but again,
the banjo.
if they love African instruments, why would they pick bluegrass? Because that's like one of the most boring uses of the banjo that there is. Bluegrass banjo is rarely interesting.
You're crazy.
Just saying.
Bluegrass is awesome. And banjo bluegrass is great too. I can't believe I'm having to say that to you, of all people.
I didn't start playing banjo for the bluegrass. Do I like bluegrass banjo a lot more than I did before? Yes, that's true. But a lot of it's pretty boring. I don't like hearing the banjo just go do 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 do.
Well, that's what the banjo is best at.
It's not, in my opinion, but I understand why you would say that.
Okay.
And I'm offended, but I'm gonna hold back.
Well, you can be offended. I'm going to send the bluegrass.
I'm gonna wait for these aliens to come.
So
and,
they especially love a particular instrument, which sounds to me like almost like a sitar. I'm not familiar with this instrument, but it's an instrument that is a gourd with 13 strings.
Yeah,
They love it.
We're talking about.
And if I'm doing a bit of what?
Are you talking about Cora? Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know. I already said I don't know what instrument he's referring to.
I think it's a Cora. Charles also loves this instrument, by the way.
Second best avatar.
Tumani Diabate. The second best avatar is Charles.
Is Cora.
I'm just kidding. I figured out what you meant, but it was just.
So here's where it gets weird, though.
Okay.
So he says they can't stand horns, so they hate classical music and jazz, which I don't really associate classical music with horns, but maybe that's just me.
I mean,
but they hate jazz, so they love bluegrass, hate
like,
jazz. They have some pretty consistently correct opinions about music.
I disagree with that strongly.
Okay, what is a jazz weeb? That's whatever you are.
Jazz good, bluegrass okay.
So
I was being a little bit too hard on bluegrass
I
for
know
a
you
fact.
were.
I just only because other people might hear this. I do like bluegrass, but
he hates it. He thinks that people that play bluegrass
better.
are a little too simple. So they hate horns. They can't stand them. But he also compares the noise that they emit to trumpets. Maybe that's why they hate it. I hate all kinds of sound that my body makes. Bunch of awful noise comes out of me. Anyway, so that's all the boring stuff. That's all the anthropology. That's out of the way. Don't have to worry about that anymore.
Thanks, Graham Hancock.
Grand ham hop?
Yes.
Ham hop.
Send
That's
a
the
blessing to
fat
the
version of
Grand
Hopper.
Hamhock.
So he got close to two of these aliens.
Okay.
You're not going to believe their names.
Leo and Randy.
It's so outrageous. No, their names are Jack and Gina. Or Gina, maybe.
Jack and Gina?
Yeah.
That's...
wow,
that's a disappointing.
I don't know if they are male or female or if they even have different sexes, but I do know that those aren't their real names. Those are just the names that they told me.
It's a good thing that at least he was able to admit that those names could not be alien names in a native alien language.
Yeah. Well, don't you know that unaccented American English is the default language of the universe?
Yeah, when you hear it all the time, you get used to it. Fish don't know they're in water.
It's true.
So, yeah,
But they always know when they're not, which is crazy.
that's right. And I've gone to space and I've still been able
Dude, you're in
to
space.
communicate with
You're in
other
space
beings.
right now.
So it's clear to me that unaccented American English is the truly the universal substrate language of all.
That's correct.
That's right. That's why linguistics was developed in the West, not because of colonialism, but because it was the only place that it could. See, it's maybe not clear without context. That's a joke, so I'm probably going to cut that. But
Great.
go ahead.
Good job. So anyway, our intrepid anthropologist tells us they will make contact with Earth on a wide scale in 2021, which, for
Okay.
those of you who aren't keeping track, is this year.
Okay. I better get my two finger style up to snuff before they get here. That's not a lot of time.
No kidding.
Damn. If this is true, I'm about to have a microtonal banjo. That's pretty cool. Maybe they'll.
Don't you think it might as well be true?
I could lead them.
You could lead
Oh
them?
man. Yeah.
Pog.
I gotta post on Banjo Hangout and see if anybody else is eagerly waiting.
Oh, isn't
You know
that
what I
that
mean?
dating site that you've been on?
It's much more than just a dating site, Randy.
It's a community. I know.
It's a community. It's a dating community.
It's a lot like a neighborhood.
It's,
Or a family if you're a bluegrass fan.
okay. I feel betrayed. You told me you liked old time music better than bluegrass, and I thought that meant that you hated bluegrass just like me. And now I'm disappointed to find out otherwise.
I think maybe that I don't quite know what you mean when you say old time music.
Old time music is like old time music. No, old time music is like gourd banjos and like traditional songs.
What do you mean, like field
Anything
hollers?
from it can be field hollers. It can be certain even
Like Delta
certain types of
blues
folk
kind of
music
vibe?
that were like pre-blues. Yeah, like Charlie Patton.
Okay, then
Like that could be
no, I
considered
do.
old
I do
time.
like old time music. Ragtime can still go though. They can find somewhere else to play their music.
You hate ragtime.
Yeah.
You're so against it.
Isn't that ragtime?
There's like the best ragtime. Listen to Scott Joplin. I mean, maybe there's other great ragtime. I'm sure. Well, doink. I'm sure there is great other ragtime, but listen to Scott Joplin. Try not to enjoy it. You'll fail. You'll fail. He's a genius. He's an ingenious.
I won't take your
It's
word for
amazing.
it, and I'll do my own investigation. So, okay, so anyway, once again, our intrepid anthropologists are, frankly, I would just call him like a warrior poet of the aliens, maybe.
Mm.
He asked them to describe where they live and what their environment is like. Like in terms of like where they are in the galaxy or the universe or whatever.
Yeah.
They couldn't explain the distance because our understanding of space does not allow for us to comprehend that distance. He says they described it as being close to the side.
That's good. That's a good. Close to what?
Close to the side.
Close to the side.
Yeah. So the full
Okay.
sentence he gives here.
The first part is cooler without. Yeah, it's
the sentence he gives here
IMO.
from
It's
them.
cooler without the close to the side part.
Yeah, definitely. So he
I think that was a connection thing happening. Go ahead.
he quotes one of them here. Home is too far away for you to understand, but also close to the side. So,
Home is too far away for you to understand, but also close to the side. Is that what you
that's
said?
exactly what I said.
Yeah.
So the last thing, which is cooler and truer than the last thing, is an overview of the activities of the U.S. Army at the Dugway Proving Ground, Southwest, of Salt Lake City, Utah. So this was a facility established in 1942 to test biological and chemical weapons. They had a little snag that they ran into at one point where they killed between 3,800 and 6,000 sheep by quote unquote accidentally spilling nerve agent across a vast stretch of the Utah desert.
It's a bad look. Okay,
it's
so
not a
they
good look
accidentally
for
spilled
sure.
it. It's good to know that they accidentally spilled it because I was imagining
Well,
them
what if
just
they didn't,
straight
though?
crop dusting sheep. As long as they didn't squirt it out of a plane. I'm not saying as long as they didn't, then it's okay, but if they squirted it out of something,
I tend to assume that when the U.S. military says they had an accident, what they mean is we did something on purpose and it worked exactly the way we wanted it to. But that's just how I interpret.
But don't tell anyone. Right.
So they killed between 3,800 and about 6,000 sheep. The official number is 3,800 and change. And another cool thing that they did was in 2015, more than 40 years after the U.S. officially denounced the use of chemical weapons, the base shipped live anthrax that they said was supposed to have been inert to a number of laboratories across the United States, including here in the great state of New York.
The Pulaski Laboratory.
Yeah, deep beneath the high school. There's a secret government facility where they
the Allen Dulles Memorial Laboratory.
How crazy is it that the entire CIA is from Watertown? It's outrageous to me.
It's crazy. Allen Dulles and Arthur Shawcross. Get ready for the episode. The double header.
Wasn't Allen Dulles' brother also a CIA man? A G man?
He was either a CIA man or some other he was a diplomat or something. If not, it was something like that. He had the same interests as Dulles for sure.
What great men!
A lot of that family did. Great men, titans. Yeah, tanks in modern terminology. Just beautiful shining tanks of men. Hosses even.
Big and magnanimous hosses, yes. So anyway, so the government, again, totally accidentally, they didn't, it's not like that time where CIA agents snuck into the Pentagon during operating hours and sprayed a bunch of chemicals all over the place in a test to see whether or not terrorists could do this same thing. It's nothing like that, surely. And so anyway, some people that I read a story of somebody that was doing an archaeological dig in the vicinity of the Dugway Proving Ground, where they were issued shots of some neutralizing agent that would stave off the effects of the anthrax poisoning, and they were everybody was kind of laboring under the apprehension that the agent would not work. Unless you can be extremely precise and get extremely lucky, it's just something that they have to give you just to say that they did it. It's supposed to keep you alive just long enough to get you to a hospital is the idea.
Jesus.
So anyway, that's the snack facts about the Dugway Proving Ground and a couple of other things.
Okay.
We've done 30 minutes, so that's it.
All
Adieu to the appendix. Much like the entire human race has said.